There are quite number of issues that were raised saying that whenever I write a query in AIOps metrics, it actually times out. It does not respond quickly, and it actually times out. Is the most of the requests that we see. What happens is whenever we are doing an AIOps metrics, right? You have all text fields, so it is open for you to do anything based on your use case. So we can very well say match all attributes. We can say dot star or match anything that contains CPU. You can just say dot star CPU dot star. That means you are matching against a huge set of metrics, and which will obviously take time. So if your use case is not to match everything, make your regex pattern as specific as possible, and also escape the um, special characters in the regex. And we have seen a very huge improvement when, suppose if I give dot star or rally.ca.com dot star versus escape all the dots and this pipe, the special characters, you'll see very huge performance improvement in the panel loading. Previously, if it takes 30 seconds, now it will take you less than 4 seconds. So that is how much difference we have seen if you start escaping the regex characters here. And the second most repeated defect we saw was, okay, my dashboard has data till few days back, but today I'm not seeing any data. Most of the cases it was that some attributes or some indexes have changed, and whatever you're using is not matching the current schema that is there. So just you can go to the query inspector that is there in the query builder. So in every panel you have a inspect tab. In that inspect tab you will be able to see the proper error responses, and you'll be able to see the request and response formats there. So if you can go to that, you'll be able to understand, okay, my index is missing or my attribute is missing, and you can actually correct your dashboard. And you create template variables, right? When in order to filter your dashboards. So template variables at times do not show any data or shows less data is one um, observation that we have seen. So what happens is when you are building a dashboard, so when I select the data source as AIOps inventory, and when I select the type as SA service, so this is how we give inventory, right? Type SA service, and what is the field that you want to show in the drop down? I want to show the names. So essentially I'm saying that I want to list all the service names. But when you go here in the preview of values, I don't see any values, because the template variable you are creating actually follows the time range of the dashboard. My dashboard time range that I have given here is 6 hours. So when I create a template variable also, it tries to fetch the last 6 hours uh, services that were registered in the last 6 hours, but it might not get anything, right? So generally template variables, whenever you are building, we suggest that you exclude the time. There is a option called exclude time. Let me show you. So when you exclude time, it doesn't take care of that time range that is there in the dashboard, and it will give you the list of services from the beginning of from the beginning of the time, whatever are there in the system, limited to the max result size. It will actually give you the services. So use this exclude time whenever you are not able to see the data properly in the template variables. And when if your table plugin or if any other plugin actually shows you additional information, for example, if the table plugin is showing you some additional braces, a table plugin, whenever there is a string format in your backend data source, it shows you a proper string. If it is an array, instead of showing comma separated values, it actually appends with a braces and then shows you the array values. For a map or an array types, it actually shows like that. So you start using our regex extraction patterns that we have provided in every dashboard panel, and you can extract them. You can extract whatever is of interest and then show it into the dashboard. Okay. If you are getting error PDFs as email, whenever you are using reporting, if you are getting the error PDFs as email, right? What we suggest is just check two things. There is a download CSV button here. So try to download CSV from here and see if the CSV is proper. And if it is proper, try to click the PDF button that appears on top of the dashboard. And try to see if this is proper. So try to download the CSV and try to generate a PDF. And if both are working fine, we need this set of logs in order to debug the issue further. But mostly the download of CSV will show you if there is some issue around the mails that are not getting generated. So there are some more troubleshooting steps, like if your mails are not getting generated, I mean, this is an issue around the PDF, but if your mails itself are not getting scheduled or not getting generated, these are the list of environment variables that might be missing in your environment and which you need to correct. Okay. And I want to spend some 2 minutes here. So I have an AIOps metrics data source, agree. NASQL is there, totally agree, but I don't know what metric to use. How do I know the metric name? And how do I write the query specifier? So these are the general questions that we get. So general, we as a dashboard team also have a set of steps we follow in order to build any dashboard. So as a step one, we have to make sure what is the source from which we want to pull the data. Is it APM, NetOps, UAM, or OI? And your source name specifier actually depends on these things, right? And then let me do this parallelly. Okay. Generally, what we do, I want errors per interval, but I don't know the exact name of that particular attribute. So my step two, right? Give a generic regex in the attribute name specifier like dot star CPU dot star. So let me give dot star CPU dot star and then blur out. So you'll see different distinct metrics that have CPU in them. See here, I see vCenter CPU alarm. So exit CPU time percentage. So you see different metrics that have CPU in them. And if you increase the clamp size here, you'll see a good amount of metrics that have CPU in it. So for example, if I say, let me further put colon. So if I put a colon, it means my metric name has CPU in it. So let me put this now. Okay. Unfortunately, I just have vCenter CPU alarm in the last 6 hours. Let me put errors. And okay, ignore case is also important. Whenever you're doing this, just put an ignore case. So when you write such regular expressions, right? See, now I can see, okay, my metric name is errors per interval. So I can actually copy this and we can put this here as errors per interval. This is what we follow as well in our team when we are building dashboards for different products. So write a generic regular expression in the attribute name specifier. You'll be able to see different attribute names and you can pick the attribute of interest there. And then there will be another question like, okay, I want to know the custom attribute. How do I get it? So for that, what you can do is you go to the query inspector and refresh it here. So when you refresh it here, you'll have expand all. Here you can see what are the different attributes that are registered for this particular metric type, like name, type. So you can actually copy them and use them in order to further enhance your query builder. So this is how we also do, and it actually helps until we bring in the feature of showing the metric names in the query builder itself. So until then, we can actually follow this set of steps here. And we have added as many troubleshooting steps in our tech docs as well. You can look into this link for more details on troubleshooting.